You know this world has gone insane. It is absolutely no secret. But tonight, Saturday night, you are about to experience the true measures of what that insanity can bring you. Tonight, you are about to see Bald and Bonkers, the one-of-a-kind show that delves deep into the world with no holds barred. Now, meet your hosts, Dakota Frandsen, specialist of the strange, and Crystal Moule, the UFO fanatic. Now, give it up, and let's see what these two idiots can bring you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. Saturday night is upon us. And look who we have. We've got my lovely co-host here. We can't forget my co-host. Look at him. Look at those looks, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we're joined tonight by Samuel, and we're going to be talking about amazing, interesting subjects. We're also joined by, everyone knows, Sherry from PWI, you know, and we're going to be talking about our company along with Samuel, you know. So how are you guys? Sherry, Samuel, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Folks. It's really good to bring Samuel on here so that you guys can talk to him. I'll just sit more to the back and not say anything and let Samuel talk and just jump in.
No problem. So that's no problem. That's no.
Well, let's start. What's the topic for tonight?
The topic is, Samuel, I've got a question for you because I've watched you in a lot of lives. How did you get into this paranormal?
Well, I guess you could say I've been doing it most of my life. I've been doing paranormal stuff on my own and this and that since about the age of 15 or 16. I'm 45 now. Mm-hmm. Now, you have to remember, I've seen things from telekinesis. This I could be completely wrong about, but I saw a guy handling fire in his hand. So, like, have you ever taken hand sanitizer and you put it into your hand and it burns a little bit? Imagine somebody having it for 6 minutes at a time and not a single burn or anything like that. Yeah. There's conditions like that. I've seen the issue of mental illness. I've seen telekinesis. I've seen a lot of things in my time. And to sit there and say that people aren't gifted, it's full of crap. Yeah. But I've seen a lot in my time, and there's also beings in this existence that has no real explanation. And some of them are dark, some of them are light, some are this and that. But for the most part, I've seen too much unusual crap that can't be explained and everything. You just can't.
Join the club. But here's a question for you. What's the most unusualist, strangest thing you have seen, Samuel?
Well, like I said, telekinesis. Yeah. I knew somebody who had her door completely locked, and I was driving with her in the passenger seat. And she was completely locked. Her seatbelt was in and everything. Mm-hmm. And all this, and like I said, I was right next to her, saw her do the whole process. The seatbelt comes on done, and she almost gets thrown out of the car while I'm in the passenger seat. And I grab her by the arm, throw her back in, hold the steering wheel, and I'm huffing and I'm puffing, trying to hold her in and everything. And I was able to, and there you go. Another thing, probably, certain things. I've seen people drink blood. I've seen people drink blood.
Is that because I've heard you talking about this before? Is that like vampirism? Could you tell us a wee bit about that?
They're not immortal. Let's try it this way. I've always had a soft spot for them. Yeah. They're not immortal, but they age extremely slow. If they take care of themselves, or even half-ass take care of themselves, they age slow. Some of them have heightened senses. Some can do this and that and everything. But for the most part, whenever it comes to vamps and everything, in theory, and this is something I believe, but they're about protecting the balance between good and evil, this and that, keeping things, because if one side gets too much power, it offsets things. If the other side gets too much power, it offsets things. But to keep it, the balance means keeping life going, keeping the economy going, and this and that. And to me, like I said, they're some of the most interesting people of all time. Now, I will not go into names and everything, but many of them have been damn good to me. And many of them I know personally. But for the most part, it's a hush-hush. I'm already revealing too much.
Out of curiosity, Samuel, I mean, do they go out looking for blood, or do they like just buy it? You know how you can buy it, obviously. You can buy it for like a blood bank.
Well, it's not just blood. It's 3 types in a general sense.
Right.
One, which they call tantric, means sexual energy, but it's not like that. It's more like piquing the interest of somebody. It could be having multiple fronts, having, say, like a woman wink at you and this and that. It's more along the lines to some degree of relationship-wise, because if you ever met people that whenever they have a whole bunch of people, they do better in life, but whenever they're alone, they're miserable, over the top miserable. And then those people, I guess you could call nymphomania, or nowadays sex addiction. That's part of it. It's that. Then you've got sangrian, not sangrian. They got pranic, which means psi energy. Some of them, whether you want to believe it or not, depend on certain emotions to come in and out and everything. But the thing is, with that, sometimes they do what they can to trigger an emotional response. They feed off that energy. So like if they how can I put this? Say like you got a vamp that's addicted to happiness.
Right.
And that happiness, they see a woman crying and they hand her a rose. They hand her a rose. And then he goes from this person to that person doing nice things. He's thriving off that energy. Then you've got people that are addicted to sympathy. Then you've got people that are addicted to anger and this and that. So they cause emotional responses. And it's not necessarily just negative stuff. It's more along the lines of that sort of. And then you got the sangrians who do deal in blood and everything.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're extremely clean about it. Like they will take medical training and become phlebotomists and say like get a butterfly needle and withdraw some blood, like the amount of a shot glass, and they'll put it in there. They take a shot. Many of them don't need food for about 2 or 3 days to a week.
I mean, I have heard about this. What's your thoughts on this, Dakota?
It's definitely an interesting culture. We do have a known vampire hangout about 2 hours from me, and I've seen him in action. Some of the nicest people, really, but it's definitely, you definitely get that vibe that there's an uneasy vibe, obviously, because you're drinking blood, but it is well documented that if, say, just getting a blood donation from someone who happens to be significantly younger than you, you can actually extend your lifespan because it affects the telomeres in the blood.
Another thing they don't tolerate is killing of innocent people. They do not tolerate it, and they deal their own justice and everything. Another thing also I deal is alchemy. Some of you've seen some of the stuff I've done. I do have some stuff if you guys want to see.
I would love to see that because I've always been interested in alchemy. I don't know that much about it. I mean, is that where the philosopher's stone and all that kind of stuff's meant to come from and stuff like that?
That's actually, for the most part, that's the ultimate goal of alchemy, but they've made a lot of progress throughout the centuries and all that other stuff.
Gold.
So the idea of becoming rich just by rubbing a stone on something, it has a huge appeal to never have to worry if you're going to have a new meal, if you're going to, you will never have to worry if you're going homeless or this or that and everything. that has a huge appeal, but in the process that they were searching for, they found other things. Say like cement. With cement, they made compounds and made the first cement. You take like brick, they made those. If you talk about air freshener, that's something we have to thanks to alchemy. There's other things that go along with it on the way of alchemy that if we didn't have alchemy, well, we wouldn't have much of anything. Like if you have drywall in your home, think a past alchemist. Now you've heard of exorcisms, right?
Oh, yes.
All right. And have you ever heard of banishments, right? Okay. If you can sense energy, what do you feel in this?
It's like when you go first, Dakota, I'm just going to sit and think about this.
Oh, let me try it.
It's
okay.
Is that sage? Is that
there's a lot? Well, there's a lot more to it. But yes, there's a lot of sage. There's black salt, hyssop, fleabane, and everything like that.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them that goes into that. Now you have to remember something with that is what I call a shadow potion. A shadow potion is that of something. It's not necessarily against good. It's not necessarily going against evil. It's going against ill intent. So whenever you have ill intent, whenever somebody has ill intent towards you and you throw it at, whether it's of the living or living of the dead, especially the dead, you banish that spirit. I'm trying my best to learn Latin. I'm pretty bad at it, but I'm horrible. But I try. But the thing is, with banishment, if you can say the incantation in Latin and then launch that potion, you're banishing a spirit, and it's not staying in. So most people, whenever they come into my place, into my apartment, they know very quickly. Most people feel safe, especially women, and I want people to feel safe whenever they come here. I want it to where, so like if I have a woman come over, I want her to have three things: safety, me having hygiene, and the other part, a clean place. They all deserve it. And so having an entity come in that could cause harm and this and that, if I can stop it, why the hell not?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I have noticed if I burn sage, I mean, I've got a spirit in my house and he's a friendly spirit, as I would say. But since I've been burning sage, I've not seen him.
Well, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. And you guys heard of black salt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
This is all black salt.
Wow.
Yeah. A friend of mine, she goes to the liquor store and buys moonshine. And so she gives me the shots, the shot glasses. And so I do what I can to get rid of all the glue and all that other stuff. And I put my, I guess, contents in it that I make potions with. And so I do have other things, knickknacks here and there that most things won't attempt to harm me, because I cheat very well. It's not that I'm super powerful. I just know how to cheat. So I don't really have people. I don't have certain entities following me around or this or that, because I make it to where they don't want nothing to do with me because they know what I can do.
No wonder all that kind of potions you've got there. I mean, there'll be no spirits in your house.
Well, I mean, I don't want them. So this is part of the box. It's a bunch of different stuff. So, and the stones, the crystals.
Yeah.
If I do an investigation, I give them as offerings.
Yeah. What would you say? What would you say was your favorite crystal when working in the paranormal?
That's a tough question. I guess I'll go with the classic quartz. Yep. Quartz is the classic. It's the starter of starters, and it does the job whenever you're just starting out, and that's how it goes. Now, like I said, whenever I was married for 11 years, they were, like I said, we ended it mutually, and we're good friends now. We still are. With them, I didn't do my stuff for a while. And like I said, that person is a great person and has become even better since all that. But for the most part, I didn't do it around them. And so out of respect. But the thing is, on the issue of the paranormal, if you're going to start out with a crystal, go with quartz and then go with rose quartz.
Yes, rose quartz is very. I like rose quartz. I think it's just nice to look at, but it's yeah.
So, and like I said, I have other things if you're ever interested. But another thing,
please show all your.
Well, bring it.
Man,
this is all you, buddy.
That shows tonight.
Yeah. Well, now tell me what you feel with these.
Hello.
What is it? Is it a bag? Is it a?
No, tell me what you feel with these. They're gloves.
There's something about it. I just don't know what it is, but there's like a.
You can be as frank as you want to say. Go ahead.
Dakota, you're Cherry. What do you think? I'm getting a weird kind of vibe. I don't know what it is.
I'm not going to say anything because I know all the background with Samuel and I know all of the items that he's picking up and I've already picked up on it. So it's down to you two.
Well,
I'm getting a weird kind of static kind of feel.
There's two parts. There's two parts to it. The first one is easy. I'll tell you this much. With those gloves that I just showed you, they have a smoke shield. A smoke shield in the way that if you're one, it's not like you got 15 people who can pick up certain energies and everything.
Yes.
They're not going to pick me up wearing those if they don't know what they're looking for. So say like you got a crowded street, 15 psychics, intuitive, whatever the hell you want to call them, and you're walking down the street and you're wearing those and they don't know what to look for, then guess what? It's adding to your smoke shield. No one's going to pick you up. And that's
what have you done to them? What have you done to them exactly to make them?
Well, I'm adding to it. The thing is, added on to it, they're kind of a darker nature sort of gloves. They're not of the light, and I'll be honest with you, they're just not. Now, I had a friend of mine make those up the sigils that went along with it.
Yeah.
And the sigils, she's very good at it. Amazing person that I've ever, one of the most amazing individuals I've ever met. Now, like I said, I put them on and I have sort of a boost. One is for defense and the other one's for offense. Well, defense and a power infusion. So whenever you wear that, even whenever I'm wearing them, most people can't pick it up. So that's how it goes. And I do have another pair of gloves, but like I said, I'm not super powerful as so many people think I am. I just cheat, and I cheat pretty damn well. So
it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. What
not
else
cheating? It's called being resourceful.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk. But I do have other things. Let me see if I can find something. This one's going to be obvious.
Holy water.
Blessing spray, holy water, and everything. You put that on some stuff, and not always, but it's going to slow things down if they've got a darker entity that wants to do harm. It's not going to stop it. It's just going to hurt the hell out of it. Another thing also, a couple in Maryland gave me some amazing incense. I'm not going to pull it out because I'll need a wheelbarrow to get that stuff out.
Oh, I love incense. I love that. I buy lots.
And they have been, and that couple's been damn good to me. And there's nothing else I can say. They've been amazing towards me.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't just deal in light. I also deal in darkness.
Can you tell us about that? Because I find that interesting, the darkness side of thing.
Well, it's a part of balance. It's part of balance because all of us have darkness, all of us have light. And whenever one overtakes the other, all hell breaks loose. Take like the pH balance of the human body. If you have too much acidity, your body goes to crap. You have too much base in your system, things go to crap. And so with me, at least me individually, I guess you can say I want that balance within me as much as humanly possible. And so that's how it goes and everything. I do deal with darkness. I do deal with light. but I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to act like a super villain things like that, and destroy that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This right here is a friend made this up for me. This is
Nice.
a mobile altar.
All right.
This is a mobile altar. It's got candles, a bowl, so that way you can mix your stuff in, mortar and pestle, tiny one, a couple spills, and also grave dirt. And if people, I never asked for the grave dirt. She gave it to me. I love her half to death, but it's been close to a year, and I should have looked at it, and she gave me grave dirt. And if anybody knows anything about spirits, they don't want their grave dirt taken. And she gave it to me, and I would have refused it if I had known, but it's too late for that. So, so that's how it goes, at least with me. And so, and then, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask you, what do you use grave dirt for? Something that I don't know.
Some people use it for necromancy.
Right.
I won't use. I don't normally deal with necromancy. I don't get me wrong. I respect those that do, but I just choose not to. Necromancy, before Christianity came into effect, most every place on earth practiced some amount of necromancy.
Yeah.
But still, the dead are supposed to rest. The dead are supposed to rest. And the idea of taking something of theirs is not a good idea. Yeah. Not that I don't blame them, but for the most part, with me, I'm different about it. Yeah. And this one, I found something, but somebody gave me this. And like I said, that great couple from Maryland, my pendulum.
Oh, that's pretty.
Ooh, I like that.
So recently, I used it recently for the first time. And what was interesting, it's an amazing lie detector. It's an amazing lie detector. So say like I have my landlord, I go over to her office and I go to her office. She had somebody and she's all suspicious of this tenant and everything. And hopefully we stay friends. You don't want to piss off your landlord. But the thing is that I went to her office and she goes, Sam, what were they saying? And I said, and then I thought to myself, are they lying or not? So whenever something like, if something goes like this, that means yes. Going like this means no. And it was definitely going like this, actually, whenever that tenant that's been a problem to her happened. I explained it to her, and that was a few days ago, and now she's getting evicted. And they have proof of why, because she's been screwing over the company that owns this place. So basically, like I said, it's a perfect lie detector. I have other things, but that's how it goes. But for the most part, I do tarot. Also. I have a witch's deck. I'm not a witch, but I have a witch's deck. I have a few other things that are nonchalant and everything. Like I said, whenever it comes to experiences, and there's nothing wrong with this, I'm not discriminating, but there are certain faiths in this world that I never could completely get on board with. Now, I call myself an occultist. I call myself an occultist because I believe they all have something relative to add to the progress of humanity. But at the same time, all of them are full of crap at the same time. All of them have something wonderful to say. But I normally stick with those things that have been good and this and that and everything. So at the end of the day, I am a multi-practitioner, multi-believer.
Have you?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, have you ever done a house blessing or anything like that? Have you ever done like a exorcism? No.
Actually, the closest thing I've ever done was I have a neighbor. I will not say her name, but she's been great to me. I've been a pain in her ass, but she's been great to me. I go over, and she invites me in. We're just having some I'm really not much of a drinker. I do drink on occasion, but not much. I come into her place, and I felt something. I felt something big and everything, but it wasn't as big as I thought. I looked at her square in the eyes, and then I looked away and I said, "How long have you had a spirit here?" She goes, "What the hell?" I'm like, "How long have you had a spirit?" She goes, "I thought I've been losing my mind all these years."
Yeah.
And so I said, so the thing is, I'm feeling it, but I couldn't pinpoint where it was at. So I said, "Can I come back in? Can I just walk back in?"
Yeah.
She said, "Yeah, sure." And she's looking floored with me. She's looking over the top floored. So I come back with a potion.
Yeah.
So I go and I sit there. I say, "Insignia Quidine." No, not that one. Pater Apollo Defendo Servum Tuum, which means, "Father Apollo, please protect your servant."
Mm-hmm.
And so I take my potion and but I couldn't see where it was. I could sense it in the general area, but I couldn't see it. And she's also like me, but to a lesser degree on certain things. But she picked it up. And so I banished it from her place. I banished it entirely. And so once I had banished it, she looked shocked. "How the hell did you do that?" I looked at her and I said, "I have a few talents." So, and then I said, "Where's the other one?" So she goes and points it out to me, but she said not to take care of it. I said, "You got to get rid of this and everything." She goes, "No, it's a kid." I'm like, "You got to get rid of it." And she goes, "No, I can't let you." And I'm like, "Okay, I will respect your decision on it." And she goes, "But why do you want to get rid of it?" I said, "It's in the form of a little kid, but that little kid is actually a shroud. Use innocence to
camouflage."
Perfectly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this one, it's in the closet. I looked at her and I said, "Can I seal it?" She goes, "What do you mean?" So I take this one, which is a defensive potion, not necessarily defensive. I make seals with it.
Yeah.
And I kind of visualize it, and she's in the closet, and that poser, if you want to call him that, is still in that closet and has not left. So that thing is still in the closet. It can't get out. It's not going to do her it hopefully doesn't do any harm, but I can't count on that because as time goes on, as we all know, seals dissipate after a while. And whenever a seal dissipates, then it can come back out. So once every 6 months, I put that back on.
Yes.
And so if you guys can feel energy, go ahead with this.
I can feel a kind of protective. What do you feel, Dakota?
There's definitely a bit of a shield to it, for lack of a better word.
I've got a kind of armor feeling, a kind of armor, as if it's like
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like I said, it's more along the lines I've made a few compounds to seal it. And sealing it, certain things I can do and certain things I can't do. As an occultist, I have a round spectrum of things I can do, but I can't master a damn thing. I really can't. I have tried till I'm blue in the face, and I just can't master many different faiths. But you have to remember something. Diversity is a huge strength. And if you can draw from one part to the next part to the next part, you're more effective on solving problems. It's sort of like attacking something on multiple points. So say like you got a nasty virus and you got 7 antibodies on different directions of that virus is dead.
Yep.
And so that's how it goes with that.
So Dakota, would you like to ask Samuel anything?
There's so much we can cover here. I feel like we have to do more shows with you here, Samuel.
Yes, sir.
But so not too long ago, and Sherry can validate this, that we had a situation emerge where an ancestral sort of curse came about. The guy was being attacked because of things his grandfather did. He was closely tied between the Hindus and the Muslim conflicts. What would be your advice in that type of situation?
Well, now, was it him that was affected or his place? What was it?
Him to the point he needed a colostomy bag.
Okay, lovely. Poor guy. I guess after the surgery that he would have, what I would do is start on his place. I would start on his place in that sort of way. Now, many witches out there will tell you, not all of them, but many will tell you that that if you have a clean place, it slows down certain energies and everything. So say like if you've got newspapers all over the floor, you've got stains on the carpet and this and that all over the place, you need to clean it up and everything. Does it get rid of all the spirits? No, but it slows it down. That's part one. Number two, whenever it comes to dealing with your place, you sweep all the edges, all the corners of your place and sweep it out the door and say, be gone as much as humanly possible. Yeah. And that's part two. Number three, then you go to the person, not the person. Once that is done, those two parts, then you take something like blessing spray or holy water and you spray the corners of the edges. And you keep repeating a chant that you are the most comfortable with and everything. While that person is doing that, if you can, there's no guarantee of this, but a hot bath of certain things, so like rose petals, flowers, and this and that. But whenever it comes to certain things of the light in that sort of way, you get them to bathe in it, make them as comfortable as humanly possible. Essential oils as much as you can, and even to the point of getting Epsom salts while they're in the bath, but keep them in the bath. That's how it goes. Then once they're out of there and everything, depending on the person, if they feel comfortable naked around a man or a woman, that's one thing. But for me personally, and you guys felt that defensive potion one I made shields with, right?
Yes.
I would put it on the center points in the palms of their hands while doing some kind of verbal ritual, if you can. Put it on the palms, put it on the inside, put it on the chakra areas that you can. And chanting up a storm. And if you can, get the person to do that. And you also, if you can, like I said, if you can, and like I said, this is just me, but keep fresh air going throughout the house, and to some extent have them fasting on the cleanest form of water you can get. And to me, that would be distilled, at least in this country, it's the cheapest and most cleanest water. And you keep it flowing, and you make them flow and everything. But you don't forget the advice of a medical professional. Never forget the advice. Do what that medical professional says. But with all that, medical science can only do so much. Alternative medicine actually is a different approach to it. But you always do medical science, Western medical science first, and then you proceed to keep going. So, and like I said, the chakras, the potions, all that, and also the cleanliness of your place, and also the guy's got to relax. He's got to relax in some sort of way. Now, even if he has to move to get that sort of peace within himself and outside of himself, then he should do that. And that's what my opinion is. If you can get him to relax, keep things clean, bless it the best way you can, and get it the best way you can. Even try to do the feng shui thing if you can. But that would be my thing. And that would be my thing. And on the issue of exorcisms, there's you ever notice in certain movies, somebody takes a Bible, and it could be any scripture, but I'm just using religious scripture, but you can use anything that you wanted if you think about it. But in a Bible or Quran or even a Torah or any other kind of religious scripture, you read a part of it and you read it and you don't stop reading it.
Yes.
And you keep going down and you keep going down and everything. What you are looking for with me saying that is something called the death verse. That entity,
Right.
that entity, and this, I'm no trained professional, but this is how I've worked it. But when it comes to that, oftentimes that entity will not like that. That entity will not like that. But before that, in between the two parts, you say, "What is your name?" Whenever they're out, and you say it 3, maybe 5 times, and then, like I said, then you work on the person, and you do what you can to banish it. So that's my advice.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. Can I ask you something, Samuel? How do you do this? Do you just read lots and lots of books?
Well, this is going to sound arrogant as hell, and I apologize if it does, but a lot of it I've learned on my own, and not just necessarily books and everything. It's what I felt over the years. Now, I've read books to back it up, because if I'm full of crap on certain critical issues, I need to know. It's not that I want to know. I need to know if I'm full of crap on something or if I'm not full of crap. Because whenever you're screwing up, no one wants to think that they're screwing up. But it's not necessarily wanting to know. It's that you need to know. So I will read the hell out of certain things. I will practically get a tent and a sleeping bag and a fire ready to go inside the library or on the internet, ready to go and look something up as much as humanly possible. And that's part of what I do to make sure I get the stuff right.
Yeah.
And another question you were asking earlier, what got me started?
Yeah.
I am horrible at conventional academics. I am horrible. I really am. But whenever it came to looking up the occult, paranormal, the occult, this and that, I had a knack for it. But as far as conventional academics, I'm horrible. And so that's where my interest was, especially during school.
Yeah. Tonight, before we became live, you were talking about the slaves and the spirits. Could you tell us a wee bit about that? Because I find that fascinating.
Well, there's a place in DeLand, Florida called it's called Super Graveyard, Super, Suber. And Super Graveyard, back in the day, was a graveyard because white Americans could not be with black Americans in a regular graveyard. They had to be buried separately. Yeah. Now, this graveyard and everything with it, you go to the graveyard and it's an abandoned graveyard. Very little upkeep has been had. Very little upkeep has been had in various different ways. And so you go to the graveyard and you feel a certain energy. Some people have seen it, some people haven't. But there's a lot of torment with that. And then there's a lot of things that are at peace. But to some extent, you don't open yourself up too much. You don't. You get it. If you're there, you stay calm. You don't let things piss you off. Don't get upset. Keep your emotions neutral as much as humanly possible. But literally always show respect. If you have something to offer, give them the offers. But back to what I was saying. That place was abandoned because they were making interstate that went over the graveyard and cut part of the graveyard off from the other part of the graveyard. So the thing is, it's an abandoned graveyard because there's no upkeep in this and that. And the thing is that graveyard's got a lot of anger, frustration, happiness, misery, but it's abandoned. And I was wanting to do a live show on a Saturday, but as I was coming out of the graveyard, literally I had just noticed a no trespassing sign. I could have been arrested. But I didn't get arrested.
Take me to jail.
Yeah, going to a graveyard. Yeah, but
I can't find my dog.
I don't feel like taking my chances with it. I do not feel like taking my chances on going to jail, especially over an issue like that. Yeah. Now, some of you guys have seen some of the other broadcasts I've done. Some of you have. If you are, thank you, every one of you. I've done other graveyards, and some of it at night and everything. I'll get down on my hands and knees, and I'll get into it looking for dates and this and that.
Yeah.
So, but super graveyard, I want to go back to it, but I better not press my luck. So,
I've actually got a question for Sherry here. Actually, Sherry, where did you find Samuel?
Exactly.
I'd started up my company, and I had a few people that would come into my room. And Samuel, I'd put something up about opening my company, and Samuel would come forward to have an interview, and he'd been watching some of my shows and found it really interesting. So I'd done an interview with Samuel, found Samuel very, very interesting, very impressed with what he'd done, and took him pretty much straight on. And then after not even a couple of months of being in the company, I was like, do you want your own show, Samuel? Do you want me to give you, like, 'cause he's just so educational, and he's one of these people, history and research and looking into things that interest him is something he really drives for. And he's been in job opportunities where he's been able to express his talents, but not to the extent that he wanted to. In some parts, he would say that he would be stopped in some of the stuff that he done. Where with me, he doesn't have to. He can be as open as he wants, and he can talk about what he wants. He knows about that, and I just have a lot of respect for Samuel, and he's worked really hard in my company.
This is the first time I've really met him, because I've talked to him in like chats with the Smith Paranormal, and when you were doing your live graveyard thing, and I think you're awesome, Samuel. I think you're very, very knowledgeable.
And there's a lot of show.
Oh, sorry. Did not mean to do that. But I was just going to say, just before break, we were talking about getting you introduced to our friend, Mike the Naked Bigfoot.
Yes.
I was just talking with him in the chat. He seems quite interested in you as well. So maybe we might be able to arrange that one of these days.
We might be able to arrange that, I think it would be. I think it'd be a very interesting
It'd be interesting to have him come up on a company, one of my company shows, and have Samuel on there, and maybe getting them together. If you're interested in that, like, we are into crypto and stuff. In my company, we do crypto, paranormal, and ufology.
I'll get you his contact details, Sherry.
Yeah.
Well, one of those graveyards though was the graves was partially open. And this was at another graveyard I was at, and I was doing a show on that, especially for Smith family. And I'm looking in there, and they have been nothing more than wonderful to me. I want that clear, and I want everyone to know that. But I go in there, and the grave was partially open. And they had cement, maybe it was cement or whatever, that was over top of it. But what was interesting was that cement obviously had broken off, so they put a huge piece of plywood over top of it. And keep in mind, they did a very bad job in that. They did a very bad job in covering that grave. Now, some of you might remember that night, I get in there, and thanks to Smith family, they gave me some great equipment. They've been wonderful to me. So I get in there on my hands, and not necessarily on my hands and knees. I get on my gut. I'm filming it with my phone and the flashlight, and I'm on the ground, and I'm showing this, and I'm literally showing what was inside that. A lot of fake flowers, this. I even think I saw some insects in there that had passed away. And remember this much about Floridians. We are the bravest people on the planet. We'll take on hurricanes. We'll take on insects. We'll take on pollution, all this other stuff. But we get one cold snap at 60 degrees. We're about ready to die.
I was watching that live.
We are ready to freaking die. We are the biggest wimps on the planet. We feel like we're going to die.
Oh my god.
And
Oh,
now, have you ever been through a hurricane? If you ever been through a hurricane, insects, have you ever handled alligators, fed alligators, all kinds of things? We're some of the bravest people,
Yeah.
but you give us 60 degrees or colder, we're going to die. That's how it is.
I was watching that live. And I actually said to one of the Smith family, I says to Chad, I says, is he cold? You were sitting shit.
I'm going into freaking convulsions.
God.
I mean, the Smith family, I love them. I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
And I think it was Linda. She was practically in shorts and a t-shirt. I've like gotten 3 layers of clothing and a heavy jacket on me, and I'm still freaking cold. I am still freaking cold. And they're like, what the hell? He does good work, but what the hell? I mean, and Smith family are some of the most amazing people I've met in a very long time.
Yeah.
But they're looking at me, what the hell's with this guy? It's 59 degrees and he's ready to die. What the hell?
No. Yeah.
But on that graveyard, like I said, it was windy, it was cold, and it was wet. And so I could have been just about anything could have got me.
I would like to see it. I would like to see you in -10.
No.
You have to remember, Chris, we're talking about Fahrenheit. We're Americans. We're lazy.
Yes, that's right. I'm Celsius, you know. You got to
God.
remember 60 degrees to me is the summertime.
Oh,
I'm from Idaho. 60 degrees is shorts and a t-shirt weather. That's nice. I go down to my relatives down in Vegas, and they're like, "Aren't you freezing?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You should look if you want to make fun of Floridians, or you want to have something to laugh at. Just talk about how hard you have it there. But I played this joke on a group of friends online, and I said, "It's 72 degrees. I think I'm going to die tonight. Please be with me, Lord. Please be with me." I never got the combination of 2 letters, F and U, so much in my life. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to freeze tonight. It's 61 degrees. Oh my God, I'm going to die. And so I'm sitting there. Like I said, more FUs came out, a lot of them. And so that's how it went. And they wanted to kill me for that. 61 degrees and you're going to die? You deserve it. Go to hell, Sam. Go to hell and die. And that was a Pentecostal preacher.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. What do you think about this, Sherry? What do you honestly think about this?
I wouldn't put nothing past the people that were around Samuel, because Samuel seems to have that sort of effect. Like, he's a really open book and he'll say things how it is, and people do react with him. As you can see, like, this is a pastor, somebody that's religious, and he's telling him to go to hell, sort of thing. Because, you know, it does show you, though, that spiritual people do have like personalities. They're not just really serious all the time and things like that. They can have a joke.
Well, like I said, I take some interesting stuff. I try like hell too. It's not necessarily out of fandom. It's because of what I believe in and what I choose to do and everything. Yeah. Now, there are certain things I can do. Like, I can transmit energy depending on the person and everything. Yeah. So say like certain people are having a tough day. I give a part of myself. I will do what I can to give a part of myself. And certain things help and certain things don't. Now, here's something what I was asking you guys. If you can feel, tell me what you feel with this.
Ooh, that's
kind of soothing.
I got a calming effect for it. I don't know why.
I find it funny that as Samuel brings out all of his little toys, I hear more static on the line.
I've noticed that.
Well, that's called a tourmaline quartz wrapped in copper. I have a friend of mine in Canada, wonderful. I rarely get to hear from her anymore, but I adore her. But with her, she just charged me shipping and handling. She practically gave it to me, and I treasured the living hell out of that. She's, like I said, and she's wonderful, and I have no idea how to complain about her at all. And she's just, I would love to hear more from her, but she has a life, and I'm not going to sit there and disrupt that.
I must admit, it's very beautiful, that quartz. Nice.
She sent it to me for $30. I don't know where she lives in Canada. All I know is that it's a place called Cold.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's Canada, for God's sakes. Of course, it's called Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole, like, some people. Have any of you guys been to Florida by chance? Just wondering.
No, I've never been out of Scotland.
No.
Well, I had a friend of mine from Texas ages ago, and they came over here and everything. That's where I met them here. But they were from Texas.
Yeah.
And with them being from Texas, they wanted to rename Florida to hot. With the humidity, the heat, the bugs, this and that and everything. She just decided to rename Florida hot. And that's what she wanted to do. I'm in the state, it's no longer, there's no longer any real leadership. It's just hot. And that's how she named it.
I've heard, I've got friends that have been to Florida their holidays in the summertime. And
I am so sorry for them.
They've come off the plane in the airport, nice air conditioned. They've walked out the doors and it's like a wall of fire hitting them in the face.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
nice. My little sister went on a little school trip to Florida, and for some odd reason, she thought it was going to be a good idea to not shower the entire time she was there.
Wow. That's going to be a bad case of swamp donkey and a bad afternoon or some shit.
My good God.
You realize how badly people sweat in that? I mean, it's like worse. It smells worse than Greek yogurt and feet. I mean, that's how bad we smell.
I'm getting rough with that sherry there.
There's the Smith Paranormal. Do you use pendulums? Well, you've already showed us one, haven't you? Yeah, you have.
Yes. Yes, they do. I do use pendulums. And like I said, I got some of the greatest friends in the Smith family. And this has become my ultimate lie detector. If somebody is not telling the truth about something, and I have to ask it to myself, either yes or no, and there we go. And the pendulum that I have, those people did amazing. And Smith family has done me a lot of justice. They've been good to me through nothing but more than every day. Sherry's been amazing to me also. And I really can't get past anything because of how great she's been. And Smith family, I have nothing but gratitude towards them.
Sherry has a guest next to her. Sherry, would you like
to
introduce your guest?
Dash.
You've got my alien friend starting with me, and now Dash has come up to do it as well.
Oh.
Dash, sit down, Dash.
That's a famous word.
Dash
from Sherry's lives. Sit, Dash. Sit,
You
Dash.
sat down when you done that as well.
Dash, what is it?
Okay. Well, I think that explains why my mother thought Sherry was a man when she heard voice messages from her off my phone.
No, she's a Valkyrie, not a Viking. A Valkyrie, and she leads to battle with her battle cry. Dash, sit down.
Not literally, not the whip comes out, but you know, like.
I mean, I can show you. I have swords, and Sherry still scares me more than a sword because of how tough.
I hope so.
You never cross Sherry.
Oh God!
I mean, I'm sitting there. I mean, we can have nuclear World War III, but if I see Sherry pissed off, then I'll take World War III nuclear style.
Yeah.
If Sherry is that mad, I will run and hide, and I'll be singing in the corner, in my own little corner, in my own little chair, trying not to look at anything. Maybe she's not there, covering my eyes, and am hoping hardcore peekaboo happens as an adult if Sherry gets that mad.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel, you're supposed to be making me look like a good boss. That sounds like I'm
I
going to
am.
take you down.
See, it's all coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh
it's all
my
coming
God.
Out. It's all coming out now.
No,
This
but
thing
I'll-
is
I'm
real.
I'm a good
Samuel,
boss. What
sit.
Samuel's saying is I don't take no
Yes,
trouble
yes.
or problems. I will put you straight.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, is there fear or is there sharing?
Oh, I think there's both in there.
Oh my gosh.
You've got,
But on
I
a
think-
serious note, Sherry has been nothing more than good to me
Yeah.
through day one. I knew I would impress her on what I was talking about whenever it came to her stuff and everything, but she let me and helped me to shine, and everything. She helped me shine through thick and thin. And there's something called letting her down will not happen with me. It will not happen, and that's how it goes. But but if she picks up a sword, I'm out of here. She's all the way in Great Britain. I'm running.
What if I
I'm
pick
going
up
to
a wand
Bermuda.
then? Will you run if I pick up a wand, Samuel?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
you'll hear the voice carrying over the mountains. Dash, sit.
Sit down, Dash. Get
I
up, Dash.
can see why Dakota's mum would have thought I was a bloke if I was telling Dash off at the time, because I do go really
Oh.
deep, because it's not just me,
I've
it's
noticed
aura, and aura goes really low in my voice, so I do like Dash, and it's
I've noticed how your voice
it's already
changes
gone.
to a man's voice. Dash, sit.
It's like Al
I've made people
Pacino.
jump.
It's like Al Pacino will calm down if she says that to him. Al Pacino will calm down.
Oh.
You see,
Dakota
guys,
gets
this is a Saturday night for you. You
Dakota
can't get any
gets
better
that.
than this.
Oh.
I'm nice,
I mean, this-
really. I am a really nice person.
Oh yes,
Yes,
you
she
are.
is. Yes, she
Yes,
is.
That's what they
Except
say, but
whenever
goes on
she
behind
says
closed
sit,
doors.
Dash, run, and make sure you change your name to Lavender, not Dash.
Believe me, you don't just need to be called Dash for me to come. Believe
Oh
me.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's just
He's
like
a good boy. It's just sometimes Dakota, you with your face.
Get the little Ronsky in here. Wow.
I think Dakota's about ready to lay eggs at this point.
Oh my
as
God.
much as he's
Oh.
laughing.
I've
Oh,
got used
my
to Dakota
God.
and Chris's faces, when I know they're going to say something inappropriate or something's going to be like.
Oh, that's a
I did
story of
not
my
mean it
life.
like that.
Inappropriate. That's my whole existence. Being
When I come
inappropriate.
after you,
Yes.
Mhm.
there you go. That's still got that
Oh.
word in it.
Just please
I love
don't
that.
use the
That's a
shoe.
good boy.
Don't use
But
the shoe. I
sometimes
don't
he can
need
be a
an
bit
animal.
overbearing and jumps on you.
I don't need a shoe. So please, if you're going to kick my tail in, don't wear the shoe.
Believe me, I think you probably
All coming
want the
out
shoe
now,
on more
ladies
than
and
having them
gentlemen.
off.
For the podcast, it's all coming out now, what Sherry does to Samuel.
I'll deserve it.
Yeah, no, there's all sorts of beatings. She's getting tag teamed
I
by
know.
aliens
I know.
and dogs
I
and
know.
what the
It's all coming out.
But her battle cry is sit, Dash. How you doing, Dash?
You know, I've always noticed every time I go to one of Sherry's lives, you're guaranteed to hear "Sit Dash."
Because he makes so much noise and he's not quiet with it either. He's like, it's like, no.
Oh my
Well,
god.
ladies and gentlemen, on the podcast side, if you're listening to this, Sherry likes to tell her dog to go and sit.
No, she's
That
never
sounds
said
wrong,
that,
Chris.
Chris. Go and sit.
It's so hurt.
I mean, just look at the pain in his
Aw.
eyes
Oh my
right now.
God.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
watch what you're saying to my dog, right? You don't need to be hearing your dirty
Oh.
minds.
I know. Go and sit, Dash.
Go and sit.
He gets goddamn Andy enough. Don't need you to be adding to him.
You gotta have Barry White playing in the background. Like 1970s
Oh my
music.
God.
And that's
There's
all
nothing
I'll
like a
be.
bit of Barry White, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you go like
Wow, this episode just went off the rails.
That's what we need to get a theme tune for Sherry when she's on the show of Barry White playing in the background, you know.
Oh God.
I didn't say
Really?
that. I didn't say that.
Oh,
I'm
it's a good
sorry.
thing that's copywritten.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't
But
turn me into a
but like
fraud.
I said, on a serious note, Sherry's been
Yeah.
one of the best bosses I've ever had.
Oh,
She puts up with my
Oh.
crap. I mean, that's very hard to do. But for the most part, that's how it is. And she's been damn good to me through day one. So I have nothing more than respect and everything. And she's had praise from some of my friends that have talked about her and seen some of the shows. And they respect her and everything. I may joke around inappropriately, just take a look at my life. It's been one inappropriate joke after the next. But for the most part, Sherry's been damn good to me. And encouraging. She also, because of her, big part because of her, she's got me back into photography. She got me back into photography. I do have an Instagram and everything. If anybody was to ever look at it, it's different.
Yes, please share. Tell everybody, and it'll be out in the ether and the internet.
yeah, definitely. This is what this is about, Samuel. We're trying to help you to get out there because he is an amazing guy. Please go and check him out, guys. Even if it's only on Instagram or whatever, he is really cool.
Well, differently 9560. Now, keep in mind, Sherry's seen some of my stuff from the Devil's Chair in Casadega, Florida. I don't know if any of you guys heard of that, but the Devil's Chair. I've taken stuff of huge orbs. I love and adore the Smith family showing me Maryland.
Yeah.
It was incredible for me. But I go to graveyards to do this, to do that, to try and get that shot and everything. But like I said, us Floridians were completely cowardly when it comes to cold. It's like for us, like I said, 61 or 65, we're about ready to die and everything. We're gonna have UNICEF come into
That's the
deliver
British
clothing
summertime.
and food and all kinds of other things. But when it gets cold, we work with it and everything. Yeah. But for the most part, I go to graveyards, I do this, I do that to try and get these orb shots and this and that. Yeah. If anybody ever sees my Facebook, you'll see a tree that I caught. You know that tree that's on my avatar, right, Sherry?
I seen that. Yeah. I seen
that one. She can tell you about that tree, what I took of it. And then a couple seconds later, none of that ever happened. And that's how it goes. And
there's some very interesting pictures on there. There's also the one where he's like a campsite sort of thing. He had all these different bowl things and all these different lights and colours were coming out of it. Absolutely amazing.
Well, I could show it here now.
Yes.
Yeah. These are the pictures, yeah.
We'll blow you up. Yeah, I just followed you on Instagram. These are some pretty interesting shots.
Yeah, he's very good, amazing. And that's what I wanted. Like he said, he really liked his photography. I said we'll get into it, and I noticed that he had some really good pictures. Said you need to do that more. And obviously, with the company side, I've not been able to do a lot of investigations. He's been doing that personally, but once all of this stuff's out the way with the world and whatever, we will be getting around to doing that sort of stuff.
Well, we need to have you back to show your photos.
Of course. Yeah. Like I said, with all of that, I'm trying to. I used to work for a newspaper that's local here. Wonderful human beings, amazing people. I've done this, I've done that. Used to write for a group called the PWIRD Group, which is an impressive organization. I wasn't able to be as creative as I liked, and whenever Sherry opened that stuff up to me, Sherry showed me and allowed me to use my talents. In many ways, I've had good friends of mine that have been supportive of allowing Sherry to give me creative room and everything. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, I owe a lot of people, including Sherry, a lot of things. And so at the end of the day, I'm a bit of a better person because of people like Sherry, you two, and so many others. And it's only going to get better, Samuel, if you let people help you to make it better.
You know, like, I'm not one of these people that are out there for myself. I'm out there for other people, and I do try. And I want people to be able to be who they are. I don't want them to have to hide who they are. That's just who I am. So that's what I bring in my company, you know, so that they can be who they want to be. And if they need help or guidance, I'm there. So,
well, another thing she's also been, but on the Valkyrie side of Sherry, I will not show her any of my swords. I promise I will never show them to. And the moment she says sit dash and she comes running at me, I'm running out the window. I don't care if I get hurt. The wrath of Sherry knows no bounds.
What happens if it's snowing outside?
Oh God, that's even worse.
I don't know what's worse. You guys have falling iguanas.
Yeah, that's a common everything day. I mean, the moment you get if they start falling at 76 degrees and they feel like they're going to die, so they fall off the trees, and there you go. Not kidding.
I can just see myself driving along and forward, and all of a sudden, I'm like iguana.
And then you feel the and then you feel the crunch of them and everything. So
no, stop.
Okay.
No iguanas were harmed in this transmission.
Not now.
But yeah, no, Samuel's an amazing asset to the company, and he'd be an amazing asset to any other sort of workplace hint network.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think it'd be really good.
I agree.
You all
cement
together really well. Okay, and I think you would really, really do well on it if you've done your haunted stuff.
Yes.
If you ever want me to come up and sit with you when you do it, Samuel, even if it's on the network, I'm happy to do that. Dakota will.
Definitely, I'll probably have to. But like I said, I've got a lot of people to thank. Sherry, the Smith family, you two.
Smiths are amazing.
They're
my other part of my A team. Chris and Dakota are A team now, yeah. But in my company, my A team is literally the Smith family and this man here.
Who is that?
On my A team.
You're saying the A team. I'm just saying it's Dakota BA.
Yeah. Oh God, that's just wrong.
I can't help myself, you know.
I may be the whippersnapper of this group, but I know that reference, boy.
Oh God, that boy thing. It reminds me of whenever my dad comes in the bedroom. Okay, I'll pull down my pants, get ready for the beating of my life. So that's how it goes.
It's been good tonight, Samuel.
Well,
thanks for coming, and Sherry, thank you for coming too.
Thank you, and just thank you for letting him come up and be himself as well, and being able to talk to you guys. Hopefully, something amazing and beautiful is happening with you three as well now. Hopefully,
we'll discuss that and we'll talk over you, but we'll talk to you after the show anyway. So thank you everybody in the chat for coming, and remember, there's a show tomorrow night. Contact. We're going to be talking about Roswell, New Mexico. So, hope you'll all see you all tomorrow night, guys, and catch you later.
Let's be.
Bye. Play, dang you.